Hello, this is Gordon D'Silva again, and welcome to the second video in the series of 4 to help you get the most out of the 5 simple steps to double your profits in 6 months. Remember, in the last program we looked at the problems of many recruitment companies are facing in working harder for less. They're taking more risks, more sales, more overheads, more team members, more stress, yet their profits are not growing as fast. In my opinion, that defines working harder for less. Compounding that, they have new entrants in the market coming at an ever-increasing rate. The barriers to entry are very low. Typically, you really need a phone, some common sense, and access to the web. And that's about all that's required to get started, not necessarily to be successful. No doubt some experience is very helpful. In my experience, over 90% of entrants are coming from existing recruitment businesses. Often these people are the stars of those businesses. They were earning a lot of money. But of course, the employer was taking their share for organization and profit. They got fed up of that and decided to go into business for themselves and keep more of their hard-earned work for themselves. Does this sound familiar to your own background? Or have you maybe come across a similar story in the industry? If it is, then you are in great company. Yet, very few of these recruitment companies reach the success they craved at the starting point. Many directors are still frustrated by the lack of profits they are experiencing within their business. The hassles, the stresses, the team problems they have within their businesses, this slows down the growth, slows down their profitability, and slows down their personal earnings. These are common to many recruitment companies, and the few that do not suffer them should be congratulated. Certainly, this message is not for them. If your profits are rising, your team is performing amazingly, you only work 2, 3, 4 days a week, your business can be sold at any point for a good multiple, and so on, this program is not for you. If you are still with me, then you are looking to grow your profits. You're looking to make your business easier to run. You're looking to have more fun running your successful business, and you're looking to earn more money out of your business. This 5-step process will give you that. We use this to accelerate profit growth in our clients, and you could do the same by following these steps. Working alone may take you a bit longer. It may be a bit more difficult because you have not done this as often as we have. So you will be learning, maybe from your own mistakes. This may slow you down a bit. Maybe instead of 6 months, it takes 2 or 3 years. But this process, if you follow the videos through to the end, will be safe. We will show you how to slow down the process if you have not done this before and you're doing this on your own. It may also be that you do not have the time to devote to the process. We do not have time to cover the contents of our productivity program right now, which gives an additional 1 day per week to the business owners within about 30 days. We can deal with that another time, but consider what is at stake. We're talking about doubling profits, whether that is from 100 to 200,000, from 60,000 to 120, or from 30 to 60 per director. Whatever it is a big jump, isn't it? It is a big lump of cash. And remember, this is recurring income. All things being equal, the new profit will be earned the next year. In fact, it should just keep increasing as you follow the processes we advocate with productivity, sales improvement, profit improvement, and business value growth. The jump will not come for free. There is work to be done. There is thinking to be done. There is action to be taken. Considered action. If you want something that will work at the flick of a switch, then this is not for you. You might as well turn off now. We have explained why we start you working on your team first. We are working on the engine room of your business. We want to fine-tune the engine before we waste valuable resources on bringing sales or exploring opportunities with a poor conversion or fulfillment engine. Most of our recruitment clients will have this data already with them. Certainly, they will have the majority of what is needed. It may not be complete. They may not have enough detail, they may not have it in an easy to assimilate format, but it exists in most cases in the form of key performance indicator data. Most of our recruitment owners will also have a gut feel for what is going on, and we will be relying in some measure on this excellent source of information during the process. The gut feel isn't enough. If it was, you would have already taken action and fixed the problem. So we need to slice and dice this data in a way that allows us to extract quality information and intelligence from it, which allows us to develop a strategic plan and allows us to take considered, well thought out action. So if you now bring together all your KPI information and start compiling it, you may have information for 6 months or you may have information for 2 years. You can compile it for departments, for divisions, for teams, for market segments, right down to the individual's analysis. We need to slice and dice the individual performance in the final analysis. I have attached a simple sample worksheet which you are welcome to download if it helps you compile the data quicker. You can use this sheet for divisions, for teams, or any other breakdown you choose. What we're going to be doing is looking into detail, for example, the calls they make, the meetings they achieve, the listings they get, how many placements they manage to match, how many placements take, and even the size of the placements. You will either have this information or have access to this information reasonably easily. If you do not, you may want to start compiling it from today. Come back to this process when you have got a month or 3 of data. A couple of things you may not have on your KPI sheet are the 2 I've put at the top of my sample worksheet, namely attitude and fit to culture. What is their attitude? I will come to the importance of that in the next section, and how well do they fit in your business culture. These are 2 important factors that I would ask you to consider for each of your individual team members. This data will give us that valuable material to work with when it comes to taking action. So we're looking at slicing and dicing the data. We're looking at getting as much information as possible on your teams and the individuals within them. Once you have got all this data accumulated and analyzed, we come to the next step of the process. We're going to extract the story from the data. All numbers tell a story. In his bestseller, Good to Great, Jim Collins uses the analogy of a bus. He talks about who was on the bus and who should be on the bus and who should not be on the bus, and even whether they're in the right seats. At a recent event, one of my recruitment clients openly told me that if all his team resigned, he would only look to rehire 40% of them. This is not an uncommon story. Unfortunately, shortly afterwards, he explained that he wanted to give all of his team share options to motivate them. Counseled him against that action. So now we need to start looking at who in your team may be in the wrong seat, and maybe even as an extreme, who should not even be on your bus. The removing of people from the bus is often a knee-jerk reaction many of my clients have taken too quickly. I don't mean they shouldn't have taken action, but I question whether the choice of simply on or off the bus is the right one. My clients are usually action takers. They are decision makers. They are comfortable with confrontation. They are typically stars, high achievers. If you recognize some of these traits in yourself, great. It is what makes you, you. Often, it is what makes you successful in your own right. Sometimes, however, it is a little bit too brutal a way to manage teams. In some places and circumstances, it really helps to be like that. In others, it can really hurt you. So look not only at whether they should be on or off the bus, but whether they are in the right seat. This is where the slicing and dicing the data becomes so important. Like I said, it can take time. Most things that are worthwhile do. It's not the best message you are likely wanting to hear, but it is a message you should hear. So now I have on screen a grid for you. You will see 4 quadrants. We will cover 2 today, the star and the dog. We have already talked about your star performers. These are the people, regardless of attitude and fit to culture, who produce great profits for you. They generate a lot of business and a lot of cash. Remember, they come with a risk. If you were a star, maybe you remember what it was like to leave. Maybe even some clients followed you to your new business. This is always a risk with stars within your team. This is regardless of any contracts you may have. We have some strategies to minimize the risk, which we can discuss another time, maybe in our boardroom event. In the other corner, you have the dogs. These are the people who are not producing significant, consistent results. They are a drain on your resources. The worst cases are the dogs in the furthest, lowest right-hand corner. These are no-hopers. These are the ones that should be first off the bus. Here is a risk though. When I work with recruitment owners, often they're so familiar with their KPI information, they've gone through it so many times, they pay only lip service to it. If there has been a trend they've missed for 6 months, it is unlikely they will see it now. It is almost invisible to them until it is pointed out. Bear this in mind when you interrogate your data. Often when they take action at this review stage, recruitment directors are either brutal or brief or both. Rarely is there considered follow-through. Rarely is there coaching and mentoring. Rarely is there sufficient accountability. Just brute force that works with stars but rarely with others. Rather than them being motivated to become stars, they become worse performing dogs. They may leave, often after damaging margins, client relationships, team morale and profitability. They may even take business with them to their next job or even start up on their own. So that's all I have time for in this section. I would love to spend much more time going through more information in greater detail, but we do try to limit these videos to a manageable length for beginners to the process. If you are stuck at any of these stages, feel free to use your call for the Recruit Quick Fix session with me. Remember, this one 15-minute call is free for you to use at any time during the process, either to discuss an element of the process or any other concerns within your business that you have. Alternatively, if you'd like to move faster and more securely and get more help, feel free to click on the button below and find out more about our boardroom event. This is where we cover the information on our 5 steps as well as our doubling your sales process and operations improvement process. During that event, we will explore 2 case studies, one ending badly, the other working brilliantly, and explore what went right and what went wrong. Simply click on the button below to find out when the next boardroom event is and book a place on it. On the next video, we will cover the next stage, which is extracting the strategic plan from the story. Until we speak on the next video, enjoy the process towards doubling your profits in 6 months. Goodbye. This is Gordon D'Silva and thank you for listening. Visit successstorybuilder.com for show notes for this episode. We help build your business success story. Get even more when you connect with us on Facebook and Twitter. I help business owners accelerate business growth. If you want to know more, visit successstorybuilder.com.